Okay guys, welcome back to another pick a card reading. So for this reading, we're going to be seeing what should you do in your connection, what action should you take in your connection. I guess you can also be, sorry, I'm like a little bit wheezy. I just woke up. You could also technically be asking about a situation and what action you should be taking in that situation. It's up to you. So yeah, I have 4 piles to choose from, so you can go ahead and choose a pile now if you didn't already choose. I also added a couple stones on the piles, so maybe that helps a little bit. But yeah, so go ahead and choose your pile and we will get into your reading. Alright, pile 1, welcome to your reading. So you chose the purple fluorite. Let's take a look at your cards and see like what action you should be taking in your connection. Oh, you know what? I have to pause real quick because I'm a little bit, I don't know, in the intro I said I just woke up, so I'm not fully prepared. I just had to go grab a book for one of the cards, and now I'm realizing I'm going to be shuffling a few cards at the end of the reading. So let me pause the video, go grab the deck, and I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back with my stuff. Okay, I don't really know how I'm going to do this reading. Didn't really plan how I wanted to pull the card, so I'm probably just not going to stress about it, and we'll just go one at a time. So starting with your tarot, and I guess the tarot is technically, I feel like that's going to be the most direct as far as what action you should be taking in your connection. So let's see, we have the 4 of Cups. And we have the 7 of Pentacles. I might just pull all your cards and speak on the messages. So we have Slide into Joy, River Otter. We have the answers you need are coming, Full Moon in Gemini. Okay, we have the Crumbling, what are you clinging on to? And we have Wedding, the situation involves marriage. And in this card we have the Dancer, self-expression and strength. So I'm gonna have to look at the book for that card. This one I'll probably like check into. I kind of already know about that card. And honestly, the energy is not bad. I think basically, so we have this energy of commitment over here with Wedding, and then we also have the 7 of Pentacles, which is kind of about investing your energy into something and kind of watching it grow and kind of like, so yeah, I guess like basically how you should handle your connection and what you should do is baby steps, maybe not like big leaps or doing a whole lot. It's kind of just like, you know, the whole energy of the 7 of Pentacles is planting a seed, which is kind of like taking the first step and then seeing how that grows or what develops after that. Another thing with the 4 of Cups, that card is about kind of like either like missing an opportunity. It kind of can talk about boredom, like not being motivated to do anything and kind of feeling bored, feeling uninterested in offers being presented to you. So I kind of feel like the message coming through, for some of you, it could be to kind of maybe ignore this person or not give them your attention, but more of what I'm feeling is mostly, and the reason why I don't really feel it's that is because you have the Wedding card. You also have your, the answers you need are coming, and 7 of Pentacles also kind of implies like putting your energy into something, investing your energy into something, and maybe investing more of your energy over time as you see that it's stable and it's growing. Something like that. So it's kind of like, you know, obviously don't jump into things with this person. Really wait for them to bring you offers that feel valuable. So with the 4 of Cups, I kind of feel like that's telling you to be careful about which offers you're taking. Don't just accept any offer, especially if it doesn't feel like it really excites you. And you know, it's kind of easy when you, if this is a love connection, that like they don't really have to do too much to for things to feel exciting, but like make sure that you see that they're really putting in some sort of effort into something. It reminds me of like certain things I've heard where it's like if a guy asks you to go out with him past a certain time and it's late, then you just tell him that you can't make it. And you know, it's like a way of training them to ask you during the day, something like that. And I don't know, so something like that might be kind of coming through. If that rain picks up, I might have to close the door. um Yeah, because the only thing that I see here with the crumbling, what are you clinging on to, could be something where it's like you want a commitment with this person. You want this person to be serious about you. Um, or it could be that you really want a specific outcome with this person. And I think there's something about, and maybe it's a good time to look at the otter, the river otter. Because that's a good card overall. I honestly, when I first got this deck, I played around with it a little bit and I asked my own personal questions and I pulled the River Otter, and it turned into be a very, very good situation. Made me very happy. So I kind of feel like that's what's going on here for you. Let me find it. What is it? 155. So, and then you also have like a number 55 here, which is a card, or a card, number of change and letting things go, and kind of welcoming in new energy. So I think that kind of relates to the crumbling. Like, what are you clinging on to? And maybe there's something you need to let go. And it's not necessarily this person. I want to reassure you that. It's more just like let go of timing of things, let go of outcomes, let go of trying to like really push things forward with this person. Invest a little bit of your energy and then wait around for them to bring you offers that really excite you. And don't hesitate to reject offers that are not interesting to you. And I think over time, it kind of shows with the Seven of Pentacles that over time, so long as you're doing this, that things do grow. I think in a positive way, especially with the River Otter slide into joy. Like you will be feeling joyful. I don't know about this card yet. We'll have to read on it, but it's the Dancer. So like that makes me think of joy. Like you dance when you're having fun. So I do feel like you're going to be having fun with this person. Um, and this card does kind of talk about like the idea of keeping a gratitude journal and just noticing the good parts of things rather than paying so much attention to anything that's upsetting or negative. But what I found interesting about the River Otter is it says here, Sea Otter is cousin to River Otter, but her energy is different. While River Otter is in constant motion, Sea Otter's motions are more leisurely. She spends a lot of time floating on her back. She'll groom her pup in this position, crack open mussels with a rock she keeps in a pouch under her arm, soak up a bit of sunshine, and even sleep. So, like, I kind of get the sense that the difference between the sea otter and the river otter is maybe you represent more of the river otter, which is like an energy that's constantly in motion, constantly wanting to move forward or progress in some way. Because I kind of feel like this energy is suggesting that you slow things down a little bit. Now, let me take a look at the Dancer. Okay, so the Dancer, it says, it's time to stop worrying about what the world thinks of you and embrace the parts of yourself that you've been trying to make more palatable for others. Self acceptance comes with maturity and recognition of your own capability, a revelation that is stronger for having come through a period of doubt. It's time for you to free yourself from your past, embrace yourself for you. You have strength and compassion within you that you haven't realized yet. Okay. Honestly, you know what? What it makes me think of, and this may not resonate with everybody, but this is just an experience that I went through because, I was very excited about any sort of love potential back in the day when I was young. I have a fire Venus sign, so it's like I want to rush in, I want to get things done, I want to initiate things and stuff like that. And that's great when you have that and you have the ability to do that. And I sense that a lot of you do. Sometimes, at least in my experience, when I began to let people approach me more often, it gave me a lot more confidence because it wasn't always me being the one initiating things with people. If I let them approach me, well, it's like they did that on their own. That's proof to me that they thought of me and they wanted to approach me. So that might be something for you. Like, let this person approach you, at least just as much as you do for them, if that's the case, if that resonates with you. And I also kind of feel like this also reminds me of kind of like, along with the Four of Cups coming out in your reading, where it's telling you to like kind of not be afraid to reject offers that don't feel very fun or exciting or interesting. Um it could have been that you were in the past accepting offers that weren't really that exciting to you, weren't that fun for you, or it's just you kind of knew that you were accepting something that wasn't what you really deserve or something like that. And I could also kind of see maybe there's advice here to stand strong in your personality. Like, don't change yourself for someone to make them like you more if you know certain things that they like in a person, and kind of trying to be that or always trying to be agreeable with that person. Still stay strong in your beliefs, who you are, your expression, and don't lose that like in a connection with this person. Stay strong in who you are. I think that's another thing that's coming through. But okay, so interesting. I do feel like the answers you need are coming. It's full moon in Gemini, so I kind of get the sense that you do talk with this person. I don't know how often, but maybe it's again, allowing this person to lead a conversation. Like, you're allowed to reciprocate, you're even allowed to message them, but just take it slow and let people or this person in this connection come towards you and approach you and kind of prove their commitment to you, and maybe don't like necessarily go looking for it. But I kind of feel like if you do this, you follow the like this advice, that it could lead to possibly more conversations with this person. It's possible they might feel less pressure, and it feels easier to approach you. It feels easier to talk to you. But I want to pull like, I don't know, like 4 cards, and just kind of see like, what kind of what happens as a result of doing this. So if pile 1 takes the advice, what's likely to happen? Okay, we have forbearance. Do not be deterred by the thorn amidst, there we go, the roses. What will happen if pile 1 takes the advice? They just love to fall on the floor. Okay, we have friends. The most unlikely friendships can form like variegated lichens on hard rock. They create a tight bond. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely, at the very least, it feels as if I don't know. It could be that this person does feel a little bit of pressure in connections. And I kind of feel as if you, again, kind of allow this person a little bit more control, allow them to approach you more often. Not only could it build your confidence because then you're seeing that they actually do think about you and they do want to talk with you, they do want to approach you, they do want to initiate things with you. And I think that could help with your confidence to understand more of this person's feelings. And I really did get the sense that if you do take baby steps, and again, not big steps, it can let this person feel like the connection is easy, and low pressure, and they feel comfortable to approach you, to talk to you, and like there's a commitment here, and a strong bond, clearly a tight bond. So what's likely to happen if pile 1 takes the advice, does the action? It's like I try and shuffle it more over the table, and it still just will fall on the floor. Hope. An idea, a single acorn can start a wondrous forest. Yeah, that's definitely like, feels like the Seven of Pentacles energy. An idea, a single acorn, like just a small acorn, not too much, and it can start a whole forest. Like, yeah, I really do feel like that relates to the Seven of Pentacles energy, that it really doesn't take much, and in fact, that's probably the best way to go about this connection. Baby steps, not doing too much. Holding back maybe a little bit. So yeah, okay, what happens as a result if pile 1 takes the advice? Okay, yep, on the floor. Okay, we have renew. Nature continuously renews itself year after year. Yeah, I kind of just feel like there is like a commitment here. Like there's longevity being shown. I do think maybe it's really depending on your energy, because I think if you rush in too much with this person in this connection, it can kind of scare them off and make them feel like there's too much pressure. And maybe they might feel like they can't live up to your expectations. Ultimately, they're going to end up disappointing you. And it could cause someone to kind of just dip out of a connection early on. But I kind of feel as if it's possible that the energy of commitment, like a tight bond, this energy of renewal, it does feel like you can make mistakes. It's not like one mistake and this person's out, which would be important for like a long-lasting connection, that you can kind of make mistakes in the connection with each other and forgive each other and learn together and understand things. And I think kind of like the way the energy comes out almost tells me that a lot of you will do this successfully. Yeah, again, there's something here reassuring you that this person is here to stay. That could be even if you do decide to rush in, but I just think that might not be. That's not what the cards are saying. They are saying slow down, take baby steps, maybe let this person approach you a little bit more. They might feel more comfortable too, and it does kind of suggest that this is some sort of ongoing connection. So I don't know. I hope this reading helps. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another reading. Bye. Okay, pile 2, welcome to your reading. So you chose this white crystal. Not sure what that is. Otherwise, I would tell you. But let's take a look at your cards, and we'll see. We're going to be taking a look at, just so I remember. I'm sure you already know. Yeah, what action you should be taking in your connection. Okay, so starting off with your tarot cards, we have the Page of Swords, And we have the Page of Cups. So that was interesting when that shuffled out. We have two pages here. I don't know if for some of you maybe it resonates that this is a connection between an air sign and a water sign. And perhaps maybe you two are the same age or around, like very close to the same age. Maybe you consider yourself to be quite young still, maybe in your early 20s or even mid 20s. I still think I'm kind of young. I'm in my late 20s. So, yeah. Let's see. We have Digest Your Past, Monarch Butterfly. Conclusions are within reach. It's interesting that this came out for this pile because pile 1 they had a Gemini energy, but it was the answers you need are coming. So it kind of feels a little bit of a similar vibe, like conclusions are within reach. You will find out more about this connection or more about this person. So we have you go first, the universe will catch you. And then we have, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And then we have, oh gosh, okay. The Acolyte. New projects and learning. Alright, so what should you do in your connection? So we have the Page of Swords and the Page of Cups. Okay, interesting. So I kind of feel like it's possible, since we do have two, like, are they suit cards? I think they're called suit cards. The Page of Swords and the Page of Cups. That does to me kind of feel like it's two different people. If not, we'll go over if this is like the same energy within two different or one person. But otherwise, I kind of feel like maybe one of you is a bit more timid than the other. Like, the Page of Swords is someone who's investigating, someone who's curious, wants to know more, maybe is observing things a lot to gain information. And the Page of Cups to me is just like, it's kind of unfair a little bit. But sometimes sometimes I see the Page of Cups as like growing feelings, a new sort of feeling emerging within you. It can also be some sort of new adventure that you're like emotionally attached to. It's emotionally fulfilling for you or something like that. And then a lot of the times I see the Page of Cups as someone who's a little bit nervous, a little bit shy, deals with levels of self-doubt at times and maybe not always confident to take action. So I kind of feel like if you do represent the Page of Swords, that you're the one who might need to initiate things in this connection, which I found very interesting since pile 1's energy was like they should slow things down, maybe not take a whole lot of action, but in your case, you have leap. You go first. The universe will catch you. So, and maybe, it could actually resonate that you're also kind of representing the Page of Cups energy because, again, I see that as a nervous energy, not really sure, looking for some sort of reassurance or like maybe validation that what they're doing is good or right or done well or something like that. So I kind of get that it's possible, especially with this energy down here saying you go first, the universe will catch you. And then to get it is safe for you to love, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all after that. It kind of makes me feel as if for some of you it's like you're nervous to approach this person. And that's where it's coming out that it's like, it's safe for you to love. You go first. The universe will catch you. Like, there's a lot here showing that you have a lot of support in this connection. That I don't feel like you're going to be feeling rejected by this person. You might be feeling very welcomed by this person, something like that. And even with the Page of Swords, like, yeah, maybe it's like telling you, like, observe this person, learn more about them. But I also feel like maybe explore your curiosity for this person. Don't be afraid to, like, approach them, initiate a conversation. And even the Page of Swords to me when I think of conversation, I think of it as like asking questions. So maybe what you should do in this connection is approach this person, trust that things will go well or that you'll be safe, and ask them questions. Be curious. And we have conclusions are within reach. So it does feel like this person will be receptive to whatever questions you have. And like if you do really want to get to know this person, I think they might really enjoy that someone wants to get to know them. They might be like really enjoy that. With Digest Your Past, the Monarch Butterfly, that is a card of change, transformation, but it's also about kind of recycling past experiences and using what you've learned from past experiences to your benefit, you know, in the present moment and even in the future. So let me see. I'm gonna look into the books, just see if there's anything else going on with that card. Actually, no. I think that's basically it for the Monarch Butterfly, but let's see what the Acolyte. Okay, so it says, if it feels like you're not making progress lately, it may be time to think about learning something new and expanding your horizons. Take up a hobby, a new class, or fresh experience. You'll enjoy the rewards immediately. Learning is an infinite journey. Embracing the fun of new experiences will provide the fresh perspective you need. Okay, expanding your horizons, learning something new, a fresh experience, and I kind of feel like, it makes sense with the sort of energy of the Page of Swords coming out, being very curious about someone. I don't know, I kind of get the sense that it's possible you and this person have a lot in common, and you're going to find that out if this is a new connection. Um, I don't know. Maybe for some of you, you've met this person in a group setting. Like it says, take up a hobby, a new class, or fresh experience. So maybe it's like a place that you go. This is the person you're interested in getting to know. But I feel like if you do approach this person, that things will kind of progress. It says you'll enjoy the rewards immediately for taking up a new, like a fresh experience. So, especially if you've kind of just been observing someone and like a little bit too shy to approach them, I think if you have enough bravery to approach them and be curious about them and what kind of happens, I feel like you'll be kind of pleasantly surprised. There's a lot here showing that there's not much for you to worry about, that you'll be safe in the connection. I feel like there's not really anything showing me that there's going to be a feeling of rejection. Only like if you give in to your curiosity and approach someone that, you'll be learning more about them. Okay, I don't know. So let's see. I'm going to pull some last cards, like maybe probably four of them, just like pile one. Kind of just to get like an idea of what kind of happens as a result of you taking this sort of advice. So for pile two, if they take this advice, what's likely to happen in the connection? Clearing, make room for growth. What's likely to happen as a result of pile two taking the advice? Okay, we get joy. Spread seeds of joy like wildflower, and no doubt you will revel in the result. Yeah, there's definitely something here of like, and even if this is like a situation and you're not here for a connection, I don't know, it's like if you put in some sort of action, be curious about it and kind of learn more about it, it seems like you're going to be getting some sort of very quick results that bring you joy. And I kind of get this feeling like as once you do this, because it feels as if your energy shows that you have been holding back. Maybe you've just been observing something or someone, and not really taking action towards it or approaching it. That when you do that, kind of like it feels as if things really speed up. Then you're like, whoa, okay, yeah, like I can see that this connection's gonna be moving forward, something like that. Um, so what happens if pile 2 takes the advice? We have light. Look to the space between the trees for answers. I don't know, that card, look to the space between the trees for answers, that just makes me feel like maybe an answer to maybe a problem or a situation could be less obvious than what you would think. And I think that might be tied to the monarch butterfly, like kind of looking into your past experiences and what you've learned from your past experiences to help you now and in the future. What happens as a result of pile 2 taking the advice? Okay, so we have patience. Everything can be accomplished at nature's pace. Okay, so maybe that's coming out to say, like, okay, for some of you, even if you do approach this person, something like that, take a leap of faith towards a situation or a person, it does feel like there are some quick results that come in that bring you happiness. But maybe, it's not exactly right to say that things are just suddenly speeding up and everything's moving fast now. But I do feel like there is some sort of, like, I don't know, quick result, quick return, reciprocity, something like that. And it's like you will be feeling like you made the right decision, that it brought you happiness. Maybe that you feel like you've learned something and that things are moving in the right direction. And yeah, maybe it's like patience coming out just to reassure you that if things are not completely speeding up, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And to maybe not expect that. So I don't know. I think that's it. I hope that these messages were helpful for you, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a future reading. Bye. Okay, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you chose the Aragonite Stone, or pile 3 if you chose based off of the intro, or the thumbnail. So with this stone, and kind of thinking about my recent readings that I've posted, so I kind of last minute decided to put the stones on the piles, partially as like a paperweight so that they don't blow away, because sometimes recently my cards like to blow away. So I just kind of intuitively put the stones on the piles, and I've noticed a lot of the times in the past when I've used this stone specifically, and like I've said this with certain blue stones, like I don't feel like it makes sense to always connect a blue stone with the throat chakra for every single reading. Like that, to me, it doesn't feel like that makes a whole lot of sense. And so I'm kind of like that with a lot of things. But with this stone specifically, as much as I don't always want to connect it to it, it does seem to come out a lot in the readings anyways. And so this stone, when I look at it, I feel like because of all the sort of like pillars coming out in so many different directions, to me, it's just like a cluster of like, kind of like what the hell is going on in this stone. It's very pretty though, but it makes me think of maybe a very complex person, a complex situation, maybe a little bit chaotic even, So I don't know. And I will say there is like, I don't exactly remember what came out in your pile, but there's one card that's stuck in my mind, and I'll have to look into the book for that card, so I guess we'll see. But overall, the vibe I got was kind of like maybe a little bit of a darker vibe. Maybe there are more complications in this connection than maybe the average connection. So, and based off of my recent readings that I've done, pile 3 has been kind of like the problem child reading. Not necessarily like their energy is bad, but kind of rougher messages coming through. And it's like I've had to give pile 3's trigger warnings recently. So I don't know, maybe your pile might need a trigger warning. Just want to kind of put that out there early just in case things get a little weird. But again, I really don't exactly know what's going to come through in your reading. So let's see. Let's just start pulling cards. Starting off with your tarot, we have the Five of Swords. Then we have the Four of Pentacles. And this is the card that I remembered. It says, deal with the dirt. Yeah, like when you hear that, deal with the dirt. I don't know. I don't think most people want to be dealing with dirt. Sounds messy, sounds dirty, sounds like something people don't want to do, but we're going to have to look into the book for that one. We also have Step Out of Your Comfort Zone, North Node. We have Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. We have Playfulness, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. And then we have the Walker in reverse. It says, the unknown, a journey. Okay, so I have a lot of sort of, I guess, intuitive messages coming through. Because I have to feel like this energy does remind me of my last few readings. And I think what's coming through as far as how you should handle the connection and the action you should be taking is to be letting go of the connection, possibly. And that's not, it depends on who you are necessarily, and like maybe your connection with this person, how drastic that goes, like how intense that letting go is. Because so we have the playfulness card, which I mean, that's like the most positive energy I see within your reading. And playfulness is like, we're not taking things seriously, we're just having fun, we're not worrying about anything, we're not looking towards outcomes of situations, we're just kind of having fun in the moment, that type of thing, and not really caring so much, not taking life so seriously. And I kind of feel like if you do resonate with being very kind of reactive to situations that happen, either in a connection or in a situation, you have the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. So that to me tells me that perhaps it's difficult for you to let go of something. Like you hold resentments in a connection. You hold on to things that have hurt you. It's hard for you to forget about it or let it go. Or it could even be bringing these things up, these negative situations back up, and, maybe kind of like reliving the experience, although it was negative or it didn't feel good or something like that. Like, it's interesting because the Five of Swords is very much to me like cutting something off and being done with it, not looking back, not really caring about it. I've heard of the Five of Swords being connected to Aquarius energy, and I think that makes sense. Like, Aquariuses are very strong in their boundaries, and when they've made a decision about something, they often don't really think about changing their mind afterwards. It's just kind of like it's done, it's over, it's in the past, we've moved on. And so I think that's kind of like interesting that comes out along with the Four of Pentacles, which is kind of like holding on to things. Like generally, the Pentacles is related to money. So it's like feeling like you never have enough money and you just need to hold on to every little penny to survive or something. It's involving like a lack mentality. And never feeling like you have enough. So I don't know. I kind of get this feeling like your advice here in this connection is to just truly let go of whatever bothered you with this person, make peace with it. For some of you, we have Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. So maybe it is helpful for you to ask for advice about your situation with someone that you trust, someone that you feel has a lot of wisdom or knowledge. Even like in this case, a lot of the times when tarot readings come up in a tarot reading, the advice is to kind of like maybe lay off watching tarot readings so much. Maybe it's not the most helpful thing at this time. For you, actually, I kind of feel like it would benefit you to maybe watch tarot readings on this situation and get guidance and hear other people's perspectives and maybe their advice and what they would do about the situation. Because then you also have North Node, step out of your comfort zone, which I feel like the Four of Pentacles is representing, although it's not necessarily a positive or comfortable energy to be in some way it's like an energy of safety, an energy of like holding on to everything I have for security. So it could be, I kind of feel like the message here is step out of your comfort zone. If you've been holding on to things too tightly, maybe it's past experiences, resentments that you have towards people, try and be brave enough to let that go and not let that, taint your energy so much. Like it feels like maybe a lot of you have struggled with feeling joy in life or feeling playful, feeling like you can kind of just not really worry about things or take things too seriously. I would say like maybe your first step is to kind of just make peace with certain situations in your past or connections. Like this could be someone who hurt you in some way, who betrayed you, who like just left you out in the cold or something like that. And maybe it's difficult. Maybe you didn't feel like you got closure in that situation and it's hard to let go, something like that. And it could even be like this energy of like I kind of spoke on this before, like along with making peace and forgiving. I don't know if I mentioned the big word forgiving, but like this, I feel like this comes out like with Page of Swords, no, not Page of Swords, the Five of Swords and the Four of Pentacles. To me, it's like every time you think of someone, you're just thinking that it's kind of coming up with a lot of negative emotions and feelings and feeling like, oh, I just like, I can't, like, I don't know, maybe you can't stand this person. Or with the Five of Swords, it's like not wanting to deal with something, not wanting to acknowledge something. And that could be you needing to make peace with something and forgive someone for what they've done. Maybe understand their perspective, although maybe they didn't handle the situation the best way. Maybe you can kind of put yourself in their shoes and understand on some level where they came from, even if you wouldn't have handled it the same way. Having some level of understanding of why they did the things they did. Like for me, I have a hard time to get a little personal with you. Like I had a really rough childhood and I had a really terrible relationship with my mother. And I will say, like, I don't, really want much of a connection with her based off of how she is. But, and I guess in some way you could say I haven't forgiven her because I don't want her necessarily back in my life. But I think the forgiveness was having an understanding of why she was so neglectful, having an understanding of why she happened to be so verbally abusive, understanding at times while she was physically abusive. Like, I understand why she did those things. I understand that she was not in the best place in life to understand how to handle a child. And while I still have a lot of sort of feelings about that, just having that understanding of why can make you feel like, okay, I didn't deserve that. that person was going through a lot and they didn't handle it well. So it could be something like that for you, like understanding where that person came from, even though the situation was hurtful or bad in some way. And that could be dealing with the dirt here with Eastern Otter, or Otter, God. Pile 1 got an otter. You have oyster. Here, let me look at the book for that. I think that says page 123. So you get 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it is number 123, so that's cool. It's a progression. So it does feel like you will be sort of growing, moving on. Ooh, it says here, toxic thoughts. Okay, I guess I'll read here. It says, our thoughts shape our experience of life. If you are constantly entertaining toxic thoughts, it is hard to be happy. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Like, it seems like you're very burdened by certain negative thoughts you have of someone, and it kind of dims your energy down. It makes it hard for you to enjoy life and just not take things so seriously and just have fun. Yeah, it's hard to be happy. Notice if you are comparing yourself to others, always feeling like you're not enough or you don't have enough. Four of Pentacles energy, yeah. Blaming other people for your troubles or spending your energy trying to change the people you love. Notice these types of thought patterns. Turn your toxic thoughts into pearls with a gratitude practice. And then it says, see River Otter on page 155. That's pile 1's energy. That's very interesting. I don't know if any of you felt drawn to pile 1, and maybe it's good to check into it. But yeah, the otter spirit, or the river otter, talks about, having a gratitude journal, looking at the things that make you happy. And that's advice I often give. If someone is bringing you a lot of negativity, don't entertain them. And that's the Five of Swords energy. Every time their energy comes up, block it out. And don't look back, and start to focus on what makes you feel good, what makes you feel happy, and create more of that within your life. Let's see. Yeah, okay. On to the next book. Let's look at The Walker in reverse and what that says. Hopefully, if you guys can. The rain picked up in, I think it was like pile 2, but now it's calmed down a little bit, but maybe you guys can still hear it. I think it sounds so relaxing. Okay, in the reverse position, the Walker says, you've been trying to move towards a new future for a while, but something keeps making you look back to the past. Is that not what I was talking about? Unlike the upright meaning of this card, this isn't something you can simply leave behind. You need to take the time to really address the problem. Perhaps you're questioning whether you need to move on at all, or perhaps there's something unresolved holding you back. Whatever the reason, it's time to do something about it. Yeah, I don't know. It could be like a not wanting to really acknowledge your feelings on a situation, how you truly felt about a situation. Again, kind of like understanding the other person's intentions or motives, or just where they're at in life, what they're capable of doing with the knowledge that they have, and kind of just understanding why they did the things they did might help you kind of release some of the resentment that you have, or understand that it's not a personal attack. It wasn't because you deserved it or you did anything wrong. Maybe it's just that person didn't know how to handle things, and it really doesn't say much about you or how they felt about you, something like that. So yeah, and it definitely feels like there's a need to kind of deal with the dirt, deal with something that's maybe a little bit more negative, and not avoid something, and kind of make peace with things. forgive someone, and that doesn't mean to like allow them back into your space. Just kind of understand why they did it or where they're coming from, and understanding that it's not your fault, something like that. And again, if this is a connection where this person and them coming up brings you a lot of negativity, it makes you feel uncomfortable or feel bad or something like that, don't be afraid to cut it off and just not look at it. Um, and that might be something that's difficult, especially with the Four of Pentacles energy of kind of not letting something go. Maybe it's time to be brave to forgive and let go and kind of move on. But I would say, like, don't just take what I say, because it seems as if with the Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. I feel like that's telling me you could get some really valuable information and answers from other, maybe tarot readers or whoever you look up to for advice on your situation. It could be important to check in with other people on what they would do or what they think about it too, not just, me, which I'm sure you might already be doing, but I think that's coming through too as what you should do about it. So let's see. I'm going to pull some last few cards just to kind of get like what happens as a result of you taking this sort of advice. So if pile 3 takes this advice, what's likely to happen for them? Okay, we have friends. That came out in, I think, pile 1. I think it was. Maybe some of you might want to go check pile 1 if you were drawn to it. What will happen if pile 3 takes this advice? Okay, we have humility. So I didn't read friends. The most unlikely friendships can form like variegated lichens on hard rock. They create a tight bond. And then we have humility. Flowers are unaware of each other's beauty. They bloom regardless. What happens as a result of pile 3 taking the advice? Okay, so you have strength. Your roots are deep. You need not fear the storm. Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is connecting. So I don't know, there might be a specific message here for someone, but let me pull one last card before I speak. So if pile 3 follows the advice, what's likely to happen? Kindness. Take respite by a bond. Is that respite? I've never heard that word. Not my vocabulary is not the most amazing. As much as I don't know. I have like this picture of like I don't know if a thumbnail. No, YouTube banner books, but I hate reading, to be honest. Like I cannot get myself to sit down and read a book and feel like it's actually interesting. Unless I was learning about facts on something, I could read that. But like a fictional story, like I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay attention. I'm not going to feel interested. So I have to say, like my vocabulary is not the like most expansive vocabulary out there. But yeah, I'm going to guess it's take respite by a pond and be kind to yourself and others. Yes. So I feel like what's coming through is like what kind of happens as a result of if you take this advice is that, you have more harmony in your relationships. Like, the 5 of Swords energy and connecting that to Aquarius energy, and this is something I've heard out of a lot of Aquarius people, is that at some point, and a lot of them I've heard, I think, have worked through this, but is something that I'm thinking about. And it's where, like, you do have trust issues based off of past experiences with people. And if you notice even the slightest bit of similarity to someone new as you've seen in another person that hurt you in the past, you're like, not interested. You're not going to get involved, or it's like you cut off connections too fast. Maybe. And I don't know, I kind of feel as if there's an energy of like you just can't trust people, you can't trust the world. There's been too much damage done, and it's like you can't forgive anyone, or you can't give anyone a chance. Something like that. And I feel like if you do make peace with situations from your past and let go of resentment, let go of toxic thoughts, you do bring in more joy. Stop feeling like, everything needs to be a certain way, and just be playful with it. Have fun. Don't, try and control anything. Not that I necessarily see anything about control here, but I kind of feel as if you've been hurt by situations in the past. And it could be because you really cared about people, or you cared about how things turn out in the connection. And maybe coming at it with a looser grip and not really thinking about how things are going to happen in a connection, and just letting it be what it is can kind of help. Along with, again, making peace with past resentments and bringing in more joy into your life. It seems as if you have a connection coming in that you could be very close with. Maybe it's a friend or something like that. But it feels like, and it could even be, if you are interested in love, that it's something that starts out as friendship and maybe moves to more. But I kind of feel like you have this strength energy. When your roots are deep, you need not fear the storm. And I feel like your roots are not deep enough to not fear the storm. And there's something where it's like, you're too afraid to trust someone again, and it's because you've been hurt in the past, and maybe you haven't really dealt with what that did to you, or really dive deep into that situation. Maybe it hurt so much that you don't really want to pay attention to it. You don't want to deal with the dirt. But when you do deal with the dirt, it brings you strength. And it makes it a lot easier to deal with the next person's dirt, or like a new storm or something like that. It doesn't phase you. You've already made peace with past situations. It's not hard. Like, it doesn't phase you anymore, something like that. And then we have humility and kindness. So it seems as if maybe your energy has been a little bit tainted recently due to more negative thoughts, past situations that hurt you, past resentments you have coming back up. And again, I think I mentioned like reliving a situation that hurt you in the past. And maybe you do that subconsciously. You purposely relive situations with people in the past to kind of remind yourself of why you don't like them, or why you should feel the way you do about them. But is that really good for your energy to keep putting yourself back into that place? I don't know, maybe there's something where you need to try something new, or try something different, and bring in more joy into your life. And I think if you follow the advice here, that's kind of what happens, is like your relationships improve because you trust people more. You feel like you can handle anything that comes your way, so you're not really afraid. Like, people who don't give people chances at all anymore, it's because they don't feel strong enough to handle something if it goes wrong. So be strong enough to handle something if it does go wrong. Be your biggest supporter and be there for yourself. And be strong enough to understand that you can withstand any storm. And when you feel that way, you don't hold so much expectation over people, and it can bring in an energy of joy and playfulness, humility, kindness. It might be easier to feel like you can be kind to people, and you can be what's the other word? But you can show humility. Yeah, and I kind of feel like, maybe if you take this advice and you really kind of heal yourself from past experiences, that it feels like these people aren't so ugly anymore. Like they're not horrible people anymore. They're just like anybody else, but that made maybe a few mistakes. And maybe they're big mistakes, but everybody does make mistakes here. We don't always know the right way to do things, and we learn through our experiences, hopefully. And I think if you make peace with your past, it makes you feel like the people who are out of your life now are not these horrible, terrible, like monsters of a people or of a person. You can kind of still see the beauty in them, even if you don't want a connection with them anymore. It's like seeing someone accurately, like after a breakup, like not just saying that they were the worst person, they did everything wrong, they were horrible, they never did anything good. Well, then why were you with them? Because at some point you saw something good in them and you were interested in them. So that was there, and that didn't just suddenly disappear just because things didn't work out. And having a very accurate idea of who people were and not just turning them into an enemy just because things didn't work out with them, something like that. So that's your reading. I'm going to stop talking now, and I do hope this reading was helpful. You guys should definitely be taking care of your energy right now, because it feels like you're probably dealing with a lot of negativity. So just make sure you're really prioritizing yourself and taking care of yourself, not overextending yourself to others at this time. And yeah, maybe you feel comfortable enough to do some reflection about past experiences, and it might help you kind of let go and clear out your energy and bring in more positive energy, so that brings like a more harmonious energy into your connections now and in the future. It makes you feel a little bit lighter and feel a little bit like you can have fun in life, and you don't have to take things so seriously, and that life can be, an enjoyable experience. So yeah, again, I'm going to stop talking. Thank you for watching. I do hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in another reading. Bye. Okay, pile 4, welcome to your reading. So you chose this green stone, or if you chose on the thumbnail, there wasn't stones, but yeah, this is Seraphonite. And let's take a look at your cards and see, what should you do about your connection? What action should you take? Okay, so the first card you have is the High Priestess. And then you have the Nine of Cups. Okay. We also have Free Your Inner Fire, Pleated Woodpecker. The end of a tough cycle approaches, Full Moon in Capricorn. Interesting, okay. We have Don't Dim to Fit In. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And then we have Free Yourself. It is time to take back control of your life. And the Chiromancer. Delivering news collaboration. So a similar sort of message came out, and I think it was in pile 1, but I think overall the energy is quite different than pile 1, but there's just like a message that came out in pile 1, which I feel like is going to be more prominent in your pile. Like it's more important of a message to be aware of. We have Don't Dim Your Light Don't Dim to Fit In, and Free Yourself, as well as Free Your Inner Fire. I don't know. And we have the end of a tough cycle approaches. So it's like, yeah, you could resonate with the connection that you're in right now being, it's a tough cycle right now. Maybe things are a little bit difficult recently or complicated or something. There's something obviously here about not dimming your light to fit in, standing out in some way, not being afraid to express yourself. We have the High Priestess energy, which can be a little bit secretive or quiet or not always sharing. So maybe that's your energy now. And I do feel like you have a lot of wisdom. And something I thought was funny. When I shuffled out your pile and I saw, okay, you have the High Priest and High of Cups, I kind of felt like you're very intuitive. You kind of already know what to do in the situation, but I also find that funny because I don't know about you. Maybe you feel similarly to me. I've gone to readings or watched readings where the reader tells me like you know what to do. I'm like, girl, if I knew what to do, I wouldn't have clicked on this reading. So it's like you still want confirmation about something, but I do feel as if you have the intelligence, you have the wisdom, and you have the intuition to handle the situation on your own. Like, even if you didn't come to my reading for advice or didn't go to anybody's readings for advice, you would still kind of end up choosing the right way to handle something, I think. But if you want a clue, we have this don't dim to fit in, free yourself, and free your inner fire. I'm going to look at the book for the Pelleted Woodpecker, so we'll see more of what that card is about. But what they do, they kind of drill at trees to get the bugs in the trees. And if you know about woodpeckers, this is something I learned recently, that their tongue like goes up in like the back of their head as like a cushion for, I guess, their brain to not get messed up while they're, pecking at the wood. So it does make me think that you could maybe be a little bit more fussy about a situation, like this quiet high priestess energy and all this energy about free yourself, just let it out and don't dim, makes me feel as if you've been accepting situations that you didn't want to, or something like that, where it's like you didn't want to put up a fuss about something. Maybe you didn't want to express some sort of disagreement or even anger, or maybe even your idea about something, your belief on something. And something here is like saying, don't be afraid to express yourself, even if that's you disagreeing with something or you putting up a fuss about something. It seems as if things will still turn out all right for you in some way with the Nine of Cups. It's like wish fulfillment. But yeah, let me take a look at this woodpecker. Okay, woodpecker uses his beat to find food, find love, communicate, and defend his territory. So yeah, I don't know. There could be something where you need to defend yourself or defend some sort of territory. Speak up. Don't be afraid to put up boundaries or create a fuss about something. Because here's another thing is like, I realized at some point, because I grew up as someone who is extremely obedient, very much a people pleaser, never disagreeing with anyone or saying no to things and stuff like that. Like, it was terrifying for me. And I found that when I practiced standing up for myself, of course, it was very uncomfortable. I didn't like it, didn't feel good. It brought a lot of anxiety and, stuff. So, but what I realized over time is like sometimes it's necessary to kind of fight or put up a fuss about something, put up boundaries, say no, argue a little bit. Because sometimes, people will take advantage of you if you're just this quiet little obedient person. They always know you'll say yes, they'll always know you'll agree. And then you just lose any sense of control. You're just a puppet for other people. So, and I realized like when I did argue more and say like no, or like put up my defenses, I don't know, willing to stand up for myself and not just accept any sort of behavior, people will change their behavior. They know that they can't act that way towards you. You're not going to make it easy to treat you that way, basically. And I watched a lot of people who I knew my entire life change instantly and just be nicer to me. And it really improved a lot of my relationships. And then it also gave me the confidence and strength to know that it's okay to stand up for myself, that it's not a bad thing. So yeah, it could be something like that for you. Like maybe you've been afraid to be like express some sort of anger or disagree with someone or say no or fight with someone about something. And sometimes, obviously do it well. Like don't just insult them or, obviously resort to violence, but to stand your ground, it really helps in connections to do that and to be able to do that, and to know, like, point it out for people, like, no, I don't deserve this treatment and I'm not accepting it. So choose something else or do something different. And I think, I guess more of the message for pile one that was similar was just like in a connection to not be just so agreeable and just accept any old offer from someone. Maybe like, don't be afraid to have higher standards in your connection. And for you, like, well, for pile one, it's more like, don't just like change yourself to be what you think the other person wants you to be, because a lot of the times that's not even enough, and they want you to be your own unique individual, because that's more interesting to someone, that they're different, or they stand in who they are, and maybe they're not necessarily willing to change that just because they got a crush on someone and they really want to impress them. Like, it's much more attractive when someone knows who they are, and you can just take it or leave it. That's who I am. Not to say that like they're never going to change and they're too stubborn to take advice or criticism, but what I mean is just like knowing who you are and not changing that for the people around you, just to fit in or just to be liked, things like that. Like, it seems as if you're meant to stand out. You're meant to be an individual, and you're meant to stick with your own standards and not lower your standards for the people around you. And it seems as if that, I mean, you have the Nine of Cups, so I feel like something's meant to work out in your favor, and there's like a sort of like wish fulfillment, wish come true. Something that you've really been wanting seems to be coming your way. Yeah, and I guess this is just saying, like, don't be afraid to be loud. Don't be afraid to have a presence and to have your own say in things, to have your own voice, and to maybe even go against what other people think at times. Okay, wait. Okay, just wanted to read a little bit there and make sure there's not anything that I was missing. But let's look at the Chiromancer. Delivering news and collaboration. I don't know, like with delivering news, this does feel like you're involved with someone, and it's like, the action you should take is just kind of do your own thing. Don't worry about how other people are going to respond. Don't worry about pleasing anyone in this situation. Like, hold whatever standards you have. Okay. So it says, you have a message to deliver. Yeah, I mean, when it says delivering news, yeah, I feel like there's something you're meant to say. You're meant to speak up about something, and it might be something that you've been afraid to say, or you feel like you might receive some sort of backlash for saying it or something like that. But yeah, so it says, you have a message to deliver, or something that you've been meaning to say for a while, but it might not be, yeah, a message that somebody is ready to receive. Exactly. Be careful how you deliver it and choose your timing carefully. The outcome may depend entirely on you. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it seems like we have, it's a tough cycle here. So it's not exactly, an easy situation with this like easy solution, but I really do feel like I don't know, maybe it sucks to hear it because you came to this reading, so on some level you're looking for advice or confirmation. But yeah, you have the High Priestess, which, and next to the Nine of Cups, it just feels like you're meant to be successful in a situation. You have you have the skills and you're very capable of figuring out the right way to handle a situation. And it seems like if you're worried about someone's reaction to something you have to say, like, you're very wise, you're very intuitive, and you probably read into people very well. And maybe like you would automatically kind of choose the right sort of timing to say it, or the right way to say it so that people hear you and they receive what you say and they don't just feel defensive about it or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna pull some last like 4 cards and we'll see like kind of what happens as a result of you taking this advice. So if pile 4 takes this advice, what's likely to happen? Okay, we have hope. An idea like a single acorn can start a wondrous forest. Yeah, so I mean, this came out in another reading, like baby steps. And I think that was pile 1, which again had like somewhat of a similar message to yours. I don't know, again, maybe, I guess I've been directing a lot of piles to pile 1, at least 3 if I include your pile 2. So I don't know, if you were drawn to pile 1, maybe you want to check it out because there is somewhat of a similar feel, and you did get, both of you got the hope card here. What happens as a result of taking this advice for pile 4? We have the night. Find comfort in the night where the world switches off and the stars burn bright. So what happens if pile 4... Well, okay. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, you got friends, and that came out in pile 1 too. That also came out in pile 3, and pile 3 was another reading that I directed to pile 1. Pile 3 also got the friends card. So what happens as a result of pile 4 taking this advice? We have change. Falling leaves do not signify the end, but the beginning of a fruitful season. Okay. I do feel like for your pile, like you're meant to speak up about something, and it might be something that you feel uncomfortable about expressing. I don't know. I've kind of bring it to the energy of like maybe you need to stand up for yourself, and maybe that's true, but for some of you maybe it's just that you want to speak up about something. It does feel like this is an energy of reconciliation with someone, perhaps, like especially if this is like a friendship connection. Because we have hope here. An idea, a single acorn can start a wondrous forest. Underneath of that we have friends. The most unlikely friendships can form like variegated lichens on hard rock. They create a tight bond. So it does feel like, it feels like a simple apology. So I don't know, maybe it's that you want to apologize to someone. Or even if it's not, maybe it's like you had a problem with someone and you want to express that with them. And I think what this is saying is that there could be a reconnection with someone. And it could start small, like I would say it's like forgiving the other person or apologizing, making amends about something, and then like you do feel a little bit better that you got it off your chest or you got it out, and maybe the other person either apologize to you or accept your apology. It feels like there's forgiveness, and it starts out slow, and then maybe, like, because it makes me feel like if you've ever fought with a friend and it's over something like stupid or petty, and you're still mad at them, but you still like them, of course, because they're your friend and you spend a lot of time with them. So this is what I'm relating it to, and it's like you want to apologize because you want to have fun with them again. You want to get over what you're upset about because you want to spend more time with them and you want to have fun again. And maybe it starts off as a little bit like, you know, apologizing or in some way letting the person know that you still care about them, and then they show you on some level they still care about you, and then it's like this feeling of like, oh, okay, I can let this go, and then eventually you can go back to your friend and spend more time with them and have fun with them again, and it's back to normal. So that's kind of what it feels like maybe there was a tough cycle with someone and there's wanting to express yourself, whether that's like what upset you, or apologize to them or receive an apology from them, and then moving back into having a closer connection with them again. Because we also have change here. Falling leaves do not signify the end, but the beginning of a fruitful season. So it feels like whatever this connection's about, things aren't over with this person. You're just going through kind of a rough cycle with them, and that things, if you do take this advice, express yourself, maybe apologize, or yeah, it doesn't feel like something bad. It just feels like you want to let someone know about something, and maybe to create like a reconnection with that person. And I feel like it's likely that you would forgive each other, you would move past a rough cycle with them, and things would change, and it would be, again, be a beginning of a fruitful season with them. And the Knight card, the way I interpret that card in the past was that talking yourself out of something because you fear the results or what could happen or what could go wrong. And I kind of feel as if you take the advice, if you express yourself, something that you've been wanting to say to someone, again, I kind of feel like the connection will be moving into a more positive direction. And then also, it seems as if you won't be dealing with as much anxious thinking about the connection, that you'll feel like you can trust this person, that you don't have to worry about this person, or this could have been something that was heavy on your mind and it's something you kind of keep thinking about and maybe keep worrying about, or you feel anxious about it. I feel like that could be something that kind of dissolves if you just kind of express yourself, make it known, whatever you need to say. So I think I'll end your reading here. So thank you for watching, and I hope that these messages were helpful. And yeah, again, thank you for watching. Wishing you the best, Pile 4, and I'll see you in another reading. Bye.